What's up, guys? Today is leg day. Leg day. Yes. So, in past videos, we've talked about building hamstrings, we talked about quads, and we talked about glutes. Now we're gonna bring all that information together in a complete workout. And this is actually my leg workout, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take you through it, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with 2 isolation exercises to get warmed up, get the blood flowing, and pre-fatigue the muscle a little bit. So we're gonna move over to leg extensions and leg curls. So we're gonna start here with leg extensions. Now, I'm gonna do 4 total sets, and the first one is gonna be 20 reps. So picking a weight that's challenging for 20. It's still a working set, but a little bit lighter. So this is a combination of a working set and a warm up at the same time. So as I do these, notice that I'm not bouncing at the bottom. Nice little pause at the top, control it on the way back down, and squeeze it back up. Where I see a lot of people go wrong with this is bouncing at the bottom, using momentum, which places unnecessary stress on your knees. You have to use really disciplined form and not try to go too heavy on this. All right, there's 20. So now I'm gonna move right here to leg curls, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. First set, 20 reps. Now I like to start off my workout with these 2 isolation exercises as opposed to jumping in on a compound movement like squats, for one reason, and that's to pre-fatigue the muscles a little bit. I like the squat, and I think it's one of the most effective exercises for building your legs, but the downside of doing squats is putting that weight on your shoulders. Puts a lot of stress on your back, a lot of stress on your hips, and a lot of stress on your knees. So what I like to do is I come over here using very strict form, pre-fatigue the muscles, meaning really work them, get them nice and tired, and that way by the time I move over to squats, they're already pre-fatigued and I don't have to put as much weight on the bar in order to really work the muscle. Now a lot of people think the opposite. They want to go over there and they want to start when they're fresh because they want to go as heavy as possible, but you don't have to go heavy in order to build muscle. You have to really work the muscle. That's how you build muscles. So now I'm moving on to my second set here. So first set of each, I did 20 reps. Now for set 2 and for set 3, I'm moving up in weight and I'm coming down in reps. So up in weight, and I'm gonna do 10 reps for sets 2 and 3 on both the leg curl and leg extension. Move over to leg curls, do the same thing. Now I train this way for a reason. And most of it has to do with previous injuries from car accident that I was in, where I broke both of my femurs and broke my hip, tore the muscles in my quads. So I've had to learn to train a little bit smarter. Whew. All right. So that was 4 total sets. Supersetting leg extensions with leg curls. First set, 20 reps. Second and third set at 10 reps, moving back to our original weight for the 4th set at 15 reps. And now it's time to move over to squats. And at this point, your legs are gonna be tired, they're gonna be pre-fatigued, they're even gonna be a little wobbly at this point. So trust me, going over and using lighter weight on squats, it's gonna be hard. Okay, here we are, squats. So just like our 4 sets over there for leg extension, leg curls, we're gonna do the exact same set scheme here. We're gonna start with 20 reps, then we're gonna move on to sets 2 and 3 at 10 reps, followed by our 4th and final set with our original weight for 15 reps. All right, remember, try to keep a nice upright torso. That means keeping your chin up, chest up, weight on your heels, and sit back. Whew. Now with squats, remember, it's a compound movement, so you're not just working your quads. As you go down nice and low, you're going to engage your hamstrings and your glutes as well. All right, set 1 done, that's 20 reps. Now moving on to sets 2 and 3. Put a little more weight on here, and we're going to 10 reps. All right, one thing we didn't talk about is foot position. I like to go slightly wider than shoulder width. Toes turned out just a hair, just where you see them right now. Here we go. Okay. That's 3 sets done. We got 1 more to go. We're gonna strip the weight down to our original weight for 15 reps. All right, 4th and final set. Again, take advantage that the weight is lighter and use good strict form, good range of motion. Here we go. Doing squats, you're engaging a lot of big muscles, so it's gonna wind you too. Not only is it great for building legs, come out here and you'll burn some calories as well. All right, so we're moving on to our next exercise, which is gonna be lunges. Doesn't matter what type of lunge you do, whether it's an alternating lunge or a walking lunge, it's a compound movement, which means that you're gonna be working your quads, your glutes, and your hamstrings. But you can put an emphasis on one or the other depending on the type. So first, we're gonna do an alternating lunge, and this is gonna put a little more emphasis on your quads, and I'll show you why. So, starting off, feet a little narrower than shoulder width. What you're gonna do, you're gonna step forward just like if you were to do a walking lunge. You're gonna squat down, and this looks just like a walking lunge, but instead of walking forward, you push back. And then you go with your other foot. This is where the alternating part comes in. Squat down, push back. Here's the part about the alternating lunge that really puts more emphasis on the quads. It's not the stepping down. Here I'm engaging my glutes and my hamstrings. It's this part, the push back. That's what's engaging the quads right here. And that's going to be extension at the knee. So lunge forward, push back. There we go. Okay, that's set number 1. Now, unlike squats or leg extensions, I actually only do 3 sets of these instead of 4. And instead of focusing on going up in weight, I stay at the same weight and I stick to 3 sets of 15 reps. That's because I don't want to worry about trying to stack more weight on and potentially using bad form. I want to focus on good technique here. So that's where you get a little more emphasis on your quads with an alternating lunge. Now, if you want to focus more on the glutes and hamstrings, that's going to be our walking lunge, and we'll do that next. The first part of the walking lunge is exactly like our alternating lunge. I'm going to step forward, and I'm going to squat down, but instead of pushing back, I'm going to pull forward and squat down. And it's that pull forward that's engaging a little bit more of the glutes and hamstrings, as opposed to the push back with the alternating lunge, which engages more of the quads. So, squat forward, pull forward. Squat, pull forward. Just like that. Turn around. Just like our alternating lunge, 15 each leg. So down and back until you get 15 on each leg. Now just like our squat, keep your chin up, chest up, try to keep your torso nice and upright. It's all about good body posture. There you go. All right, so just like our alternating lunges, where I only do 3 sets, 15 reps each, I do the exact same thing on walking lunges. I want to focus on good form, good technique, instead of worrying about how much I'm doing. So 15 reps should be hard though. So You got two options there for lunges. Either an alternating lunge to focus on your quads, or 3 sets of walking lunges, 15 on each leg, if you want to target more your glutes and hamstrings. So now we're gonna go and we're gonna move on to deadlifts, but we're gonna talk about 2 different types of deadlifts. Same thing, depending on if you want to focus more on your quads or if you want to focus more on your hamstrings. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna focus on an exercise specific for your hamstrings and glutes, and that's going to be the stiff-legged deadlift. Start with a foot position that's just about shoulder width apart. Hand position, as I roll the bar to my shin, I grab the bar just outside of my leg so it'll clear my knees as I go down. And the reason is you want to keep that bar close to your body the whole time. So that's number 1, keeping the bar close to your body. So as I come down, I'm dragging that bar across the front of my leg. You see how my thumbs are touching my shin? I use my thumbs as a guide. So keeping that bar close to my body. So that's step 1 in a good stiff-legged deadlift. The second thing is keeping your back straight. Do not bend your back. So keep your chin up, straight back, till you feel that tension in your hamstrings, pause, and then squeeze back up. Whew. Now, a lot of people, their grip starts to fatigue before their legs do. So this is one of the few exercises that I'll actually use wrist straps for. I don't use them on many exercises, but this is one of them because I don't want my hands and my forearms tiring before my hamstrings and glutes do. So this is an exercise you can use wrist straps for. Whew. All right, so just like our leg extensions, leg curls, and our squats, 4 total sets. First set, 20 reps. Second and third set, we're gonna move up in weight, come down in reps to 10 reps each set, followed by our 4th and final set, coming back to our original weight for 15 reps. So that's targeting more of our hamstrings and our glutes with a stiff-legged deadlift. So now let's talk about a regular deadlift. Now you may wonder, why am I coming over to the dumbbells if I'm gonna do deadlift? That's because I use dumbbells for my deadlift. And I'm gonna explain why. One of the problems with doing a regular deadlift is using their back. So as they come forward and they pick it up off the floor, they're pulling with their back at the same time as they pull with their legs. Part of that is because the bar is in front of you. To help eliminate that is putting your hands at your sides like this. Now, if any of you have ever seen the diamond shape bars that you step into the middle that has handles that are parallel with my hands like this, that's why they have those, and that's to put the weight at your sides. So I don't have one of those right here, so what I like to do is I use dumbbells. This allows me to put the weights at my sides, and as I drop down, the weight's not out in front of me, it's at my sides, and it allows me to sit back. All right, sit back and push up. So here we go. Just like my other exercises, 4 total sets, 20, 10, 10, final set going back to my original weight for 15 reps. So here we go, 20 reps. All right, feet. I like to go a little narrower than shoulder width. I want to try to get a little more emphasis on the quads. If I go too wide with my feet, I end up engaging more of my hamstrings and glutes. So I go just slightly narrower with my feet, chin up, chest up, and sit back. Weights all the way down, and press back up. 20 reps. Last one. Oh. All right. Whew. Now, if we want to target the quads a little bit more, instead of just focusing on pressing with your heels, I want you, as you press back up, to put the weight in the ball of your foot as you press back up. If you transfer more of the weight in your heels, you're gonna feel it in your hamstrings and glutes. which for me is okay on the way back, on the way down. So on the way down, I'll put my weight in my heels and I'll sit back. And as I push up, I transfer a little bit of that weight to the balls of my feet and press up. Whew. So that was set 1. Now we have 3 more sets. We're gonna move up to a heavier weight, 2 sets at 10 reps, and then we're gonna come back to this weight and finish up with 15 reps. So now at this point, you've either done your stiff-legged deadlifts or you've done your regular deadlifts using dumbbells. Now, I'm gonna show you a couple alternatives just in case you have a challenge with one of these. For the stiff-legged deadlifts, I've been working with Kirby, who works here in the office. If you've seen my series Games to Gains, where I'm taking Kirby, who is 132 pounds, and we're trying to put 20 pounds of muscle on him, he didn't have the coordination to do stiff-legged deadlifts. So I brought him over to a hyperextension bench so he could learn the feeling of doing stiff-legged deadlifts without having to worry about a bar. Hyperextensions, 2 ways to do them. 1, if I bend my back, which is exactly what you don't want to do on stiff-legged deadlifts, you're going to be working your back. So that's going to look like this. That's a curl and straightening. So we want to do this just like you would do a stiff-legged deadlift, and that's going to be keeping your back straight. So straight back until you feel that tension in your hamstrings. Squeeze back up, get a little bit of hyperextension. Stretch it, and then back up. All right, so if you have trouble doing stiff-legged deadlifts, this is an alternative exercise. Now, on squats, if you lack the confidence yet, or the stability or the coordination to do squats the right way, or if you're afraid of putting the weight on your shoulders in the beginning, a good alternative exercise is going to be a leg press machine. So we talked about this in my last video, 2 different ways to do a leg press. If we want to focus on our quads, we're going to put our feet closer together and lower on the platform and press through the ball of our foot. If we want to focus on our hamstrings and glutes, we're going to come higher on the platform and wider. This is going to help us focus on our hamstrings and glutes. So that's an alternative exercise for the squats until you can develop that confidence and that level of comfort. Then you can move on to squats. So 2 different ways to do the leg press, depending again whether you want to target your hamstrings and glutes or your quads. So as you can see by this whole workout, it really comes down to what your goal is. Are you trying to build more of your quads? Are they lacking? Or are you trying to put a little more emphasis on your hamstrings and glutes? Are they the ones that are lacking? So between everything that I've showed you here, you've got enough tools, enough ammunition here to build big legs no matter which body part is weak. So that's my complete leg workout. The only thing that we didn't talk about, and that's because I don't include it in my leg training, is calves. So stay tuned next week. We'll talk about building big calves. That'll be building your gastrocnemius, building your soleus. So that's next week's video. So I will see you guys then.